God would prefer you to not do these things. Like it says it in different language, but God says, don't fucking rip your neighbor off. Don't, like, fucking kill people. Lying is a bad idea. Dudes should not fuck other dudes. That's not really morally cool. And don't charge really high interest rates. Like, that's an example. So and they're like, yeah, see, and the whole butt fucking thing is in the middle. And that's the most, and I'm like, no, it's not. If someone in the church is super, 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 super concerned about homosexuality, they have a moral obligation, because they'll always say, well, it's because Scripture says. And I'm like, yeah, Scripture does say. And to address your particular point, there's stuff that the don't eat shrimp thing in the New Testament is specifically revoked. God says, okay, I said no shrimp before in that context. In this new context, shrimp and also pork is okay. Unclean animals are no longer unclean because of some shit that just happened. But the homosexuality, God did not. This one guy had a dream, and God's like, here's a blanket full of bacon. Metaphorically speaking. And the guy's like, you said we can't have bacon. And God's like, ha ha ha, you can now, because I'm nice. God did not, please don't try to mentally image this, lower a gay man down on a blanket and say, you can fuck him now. That's not the basis for understanding that homosexuality is not okay in the New Testament, but that's why our approach to eating shrimp and our approach to stuff like lying are different, theologically speaking. So the thing is, basically in the Bible, lying and butt fucking are morally equivalent. Because here's the thing, in the Bible, God never says one sin is worse than another. God always says all sin is super, super ultimately important. If you do one of them, you've just rebelled against the creator of the universe, and like, it's like you go up to the king and you're like, hey king! I'm just in the king's face. That's what sin is, basically. And God's like, so that's not really cool, and that sort of, there's a break in the relationship when you jizz on the king's face, metaphorically. So there's no like, oh God, I lied, but that guy butt fucked, so he's worse. And God's like, okay, so you only came a teaspoon in my eye, but that guy did a whole tablespoon, and that's you. So I should be okay with you jizzing into my eye? That's your. So basically, anybody in the church is like, we really need to address the homosexuality issue. Okay, sure. And then we also need to address with equal weight anybody that lies, and who in the church is not contributing to the material welfare of widows and orphans. Because there's plenty of those, and people don't talk about that nearly as much. But there's way more broke widows and orphans than there are homosexuals around. I mean, I haven't done a study, but I'm pretty sure Africa has more people than San Francisco. I mean, that's, yes. Okay, so I'll tell you, remind me to tell you the story later on about conversations I've had on that topic. So everybody understands that while God says, hey, don't fuck other dudes in the butt, this morally not okay, that's not God saying, if you do that, I don't like you anymore. That's God saying, here's a list of things that I would prefer you not to do in order to achieve a moral beauty in a systematic moral beauty that approaches, like if you go out to Banff and look at the mountains, you know, it's like beautiful, unspoiled nature, right? And then somebody will show up and just like shit all over it with industrial complexes. That's sort of the metaphor for, like, God's like, okay, so here's perfect moral order, and then mankind comes in and just goes, right? So, while you may disagree, and it's perfectly valid if you do disagree, about whether or not God should be okay with butt fucking, the level of upset God is with butt fucking is exactly equal to the level of upset he has with people lying. And there's a lot of people in the church that don't get that. And shit all over homosexuals, which is fucking wrong. It's kind of in the Bible. Like, it doesn't say specifically don't shit on homosexuals, but it does say don't shit on people. Like, I'm going to because ha ha ha, but in the church, it's like don't shit on people. And then, I'm going to shit on them because they jizz 2 tablespoons in the king's eye. Ah, no, asshole. Doing that is jizzing more in the king's eye. So we'll get to that later. do we understand how these conversations are going to go?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Ask your mom what bukkake is. That will inform you about the theological metaphor I have just made. So, it's getting on to time for one of the two surprises. Okay, so first, I am indeed wearing a kigurumi. It's delightful. It's Rilakuma, and it's authentic because it's got the...
There is an access panel.
That's an accurate part of the character design. It unzips all the way, and behind that is just a panel of the blue and white fabrics, because that's how the character is designed. There's no access to shit back there. Simply, literally, there's no access to shit back there. So, there is some fandom of the auction guy for reasons I cannot like, someone actually came up to me yesterday, somebody that was dressed up as Vulpix in the bondage panel with Navashin.
Oh dear.
Is she here? Put your hand up here. No? Okay, good. Actually, and she was like, yeah, so I do this other announcement thing with this other group, and I'm like, you do it really well, and I want to do it as well as you do. And I'm like, have you been to my panel? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, all I do is I scream curse words at people. And she's like, yeah. That, like, just go downtown between the bottle depot and the nearest co-op liquor store and stand there, and you'll get the same thing, only it'll be more exciting. But apparently people edit this a safe place so they can come and be sworn at. So the other two big things. So we will be auctioning off this kigu that I'm wearing so sexily.
Hey, did you guys bring that?
Maybe. I guess you'll have to find out. The other two things are, have you guys seen the cosplay guest Yumi Akai?
Yeah!
Yeah, is she totally awesome?
Yeah!
Yep.
I want more clapping. She's got a really nice booty too. What's Spanish?
Muy mono.
Cuco, mono.
Adorable.
Cuco mono adorable. Yeah. Language skills. So she has offered to auction something off. Not her body, not her costume. Stop it. But she did bring a gift all the way from Spain for us, and she would like to explain the background to it.
So she's going to tell you the story in Spanish, and I will translate after. This is because it sounds great.
Esto se llama un cordoncito de San Pascual.
Okay, this is called San Pascual cord.
Es como un amuleto del lugar donde yo vivo, porque existía un santo que era franciscano que vino a vivir a mi ciudad.
So this is from the city where she lives. Is an object for having good luck. It's called after San Pascual. He's a saint, a Franciscan saint from the region where she lives in Spain.
Es muy importante siempre para nosotros y decimos que nos da mucha suerte porque el santo San Pascual, cuando murió, su cuerpo no se deshizo, estuvo totalmente perfecto.
So when San Pascual died, his body didn't decompose. It remained the same for muchos días.
Años.
For many years.
Estuvo muchos años perfecto hasta que vino la guerra civil y quemaron la iglesia, sacaron a San Pascual y lo quemaron en medio del pueblo.
So during the Civil War, they took the body of San Pascual and they burned it, and then they bury it in the town.
Esta semana es las fiestas de allí, de San Pascual, y todos en la ciudad llevamos el cordón o en la muñeca, o en el tobillo, o en alguna parte de algún objeto o en el cuerpo.
So this week in Spain, in Valencia, in this place, this is the week of San Pascual. So all the people in the town and the cities nearby, they have this cord on the wrist or here to have good luck.
La ciudad donde yo vivo se llama Pilar Real, es solo típico de esa zona. Los demás lugares de Valencia no saben que existe esto.
Okay, so she lives in a city called
Pilar Real.
Villarreal, and this is a proverb from that city.
Y esto, como es tan importante para mí, me gustaría compartirlo con vosotros y para que tuvierais también suerte, tanto en la vida como en vuestros sueños, porque como familia me fue de mucha utilidad, porque gracias a esto puedo seguir mi sueño de ser coach profesional y dedicarme a actuar.
So she wants to share this with you so you can share a little bit of the very good luck that she has had in her life to follow your dreams and have a very happy life. And this is the reason why she's sharing this with you. So it's good luck. Very nice article. Please share.